I like your monochromatic palette. I think
I'm always monochromatic.
I think it's good. Contrast, nice compliment.
I'm getting older. I can't wear frilly dresses with big patterns on like you can wear
Just
anymore.
trying to coax the sun out. It's been working.
I know. Actually, the other day I wore a pair of white shorts and I was like, come on! And all I ended up doing was getting mud on them. It's quite funny.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you, Kate. We see you in Divergent in a slightly different way from we've seen you before. You know, it's action, you're a baddie. Did you enjoy playing a baddie, and how did you get into the wicked mode?
I don't know how I got into the wicked mode. I think I was maybe helped by the fact that the character of Janine that I play in Divergent, she's very, very well constructed in the book. And so for me in particular, I just sort of soaked up all of that. But I loved it. I loved being slightly intimidating. I loved walking on set for the first day, and they'd already been filming for 17 weeks, and they were all clearly a little bit intimidated. I think both by the Janine part of it, and perhaps that I had suddenly turned up. I don't know why. I seem to have this effect on people that get really scared. And so I just thought, oh, I'll let them be scared. I'm just going to let them be scared. So I let them be scared for a few days. And then, of course, they realised that I was the biggest softie out of the lot of them. And, yeah, they were all crying on my shoulder by week 3.
So you didn't give them an inkling that you're actually not a nasty person?
No, I didn't. For the first couple of days, I really just let them think that I was horrible and was there to intimidate and destroy. It worked.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You were 5 months pregnant while filming.
I
was.
was. It was, you know, at the end of the day, it was probably just quite funny, really, you know, endless undergarments trying to sort of smooth everything down. And, you know, it's difficult trying to hide a pregnancy when the last thing in the world that you want to be doing is hiding it. And so no, we just had to keep tweaking costumes, letting them out a little more and a little more. But apart from the swollen ankles, it was fine. There were some stunts in the film that, yeah, I couldn't do as many stunts as I'd wanted to do. We did have a little bit of reshooting, which actually only happened about 6 weeks ago. So having just had the baby, I did find myself back on set, and I was actually able to do a little bit of the stunty stuff, which I always love. So that was great.
Now the film, of course, is about making that choice, that moment in your life when you decide whether to go the way you were raised or sort of follow your internal compass. I know it well, that moment when you kind of decide you want to rebel a little bit. Did you ever rebel?
I didn't actually, and someone was asking me about this earlier. I never really had that rebellious moment. I was quite an independent teenager, but also I was working. I started working when I was about 15, 16, and so I think when you're out in the world, you have to be responsible and you have to sort of take care of yourself. So perhaps now, actually, in playing a baddie in Divergent, maybe I'm finally rebelling. Maybe this is my channeling my inner bitch moment. But I do think that one of the things about the film that for me was so strong when I first read the script is exactly what you say, is that, you know, you do reach a point in your life where, you know, you have to choose, really, make that choice. Who are you going to be? What kind of person do you want to be for the rest of your life? And actually being true to yourself, you know, these are big questions. And I think the fact that the film does pose those big questions, it really does, I think, make you think. And I love that.
I think it also kind of raises this question about, as a parent, you decide to bring your children up the way you were brought up, or you make different choices. Do you find that as well? That's quite a difficult thing to think about.
Well, I think at the moment, I mean, I'm not quite at the parenting point where, you know, what I might choose would possibly be different to my children because they're still in that stage of growing. But no, I hear you. I hear you. You know, we don't always think the same way that our parents do. I think that was probably certainly the case for me at various different times. Yeah.
Will your kids be watching Divergent?
They've seen it and they loved it. They really loved it, and they had lots of questions afterwards, really intelligent questions, which I liked. But it's very much a film, I think, for that age range, or they're the sort of the younger end of that age range. But it's got a bit of everything for everybody, just because, you know, there aren't just these young teenage actors in it as well. It's got lots of really old cronies like myself.
An old crony. Just finally, are there any of your films that they won't be watching for whatever reason?
Oh, most of them. Oh, they can't see most of my films. I mean, no. No.
Why's that?
I've for half the films I've made, I've ended up having to take my clothes off, so that would be the first reason. But secondly, they're just much more, I don't know, they're just much more sort of adult-oriented dramas, I suppose. I haven't really done any kids films as such. So this is a bit of a first, really, as far as they're concerned, because it is something that they can go and see.